Sonic is about to face a mechanical mirror image from a bad future. We've got official casting news for Amy Rose. A massive filming leak points directly to a fan-favorite game location, and wait for this, we are getting back-to-back Sonic movies. Yeah, that's right, 2 new Sonic movies are on the way. Yeah, the Blue Blur is officially coming back for a 4th outing, and today we are going in deep with every scrap of info on the movie we're all hyped for around here. Yep, you know it. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Preview unlocked.
Preview unlocked.
Alright, let's lace up those power sneakers and get to it, because Paramount isn't just making a sequel. Oh no, they're building a multi-billion-dollar roadmap that rivals the biggest superhero franchises. Yep, move over MCU. The Sonic Cinematic Universe is here. Sonic 4 was officially greenlit in December 2024, literally just weeks after the 3rd film hit theaters. It's clear the studio is banking on Sonic as its cornerstone brand. They aren't sleeping on getting these sequels out, and the fact that we already have a release date penciled in confirms that. Mark your calendars, folks. March 19th, 2027. That's just over a year away. Before you know it, we'll all be sitting in movie theaters, stuffing our mouths with popcorn, watching Amy Rose and the Metal Sonic Army on the big screen. If you've been following these movies from the start, you've probably noticed a release schedule pattern starting to form. Ever since the first movie dropped back in 2020, Team Sonic has been on a very strict hit a year, miss a year diet. We got Sonic 1 in 2020, Sonic 2 in 2022, and Sonic 3 in late 2024. It was like clockwork. So by pushing Sonic 4 to 2027, they are officially breaking that biennial pattern for the first time. And according to insider and internet sleuths, there might be a very good reason for that. The rumor on the street is, we are getting yet another Sonic the Hedgehog movie in 2028. Yeah, back-to-back Sonic movies, baby. But look, we'll get back to that secret 2028 movie later in this video. Now, looking behind the scenes, principal photography is officially set to kick off in London during the summer of 2026, so the countdown is officially on. And this time around, it could be the biggest Sonic release yet, because co-producer Neil H. Moretz actually flew to New York for a sit-down with the CEO of IMAX and presented early unreleased concept art and visuals of Sonic 4 to prove the movie is a perfect fit for their screens. Yeah, it might have taken 4 movies, but I'm not complaining if we finally get to see in the Blue Blur on the big screen. And it all makes total sense when you look at the creative direction. They are finally moving away from that small-town, Earth-based road trip vibe we saw in the first 2 movies and leaning into the massive, high-concept out-of-world zones straight from the games. With rumors of time travel and a Sonic CD-inspired plot, we are talking about a story that is built for those big screens. The Sonic franchise is clearly thinking bigger than ever before, and if I haven't convinced you yet, why don't we take a look at the cast? While the Sonic movies have always nailed casting, Sonic 4 is somehow leveling that up even further. This franchise has built a seriously stacked team over the past few years, and the good news is, the core creative force is not going anywhere. Jeff Fowler is officially returning to direct Sonic 4, which honestly is exactly what you want to hear at this point. He's been with this franchise since day one. He survived the original Sonic design era. He helped steer the redesign that literally saved the movie, and he's the one who helped turn Sonic into one of the most successful video game movie franchises ever. Sonic 4 is arguably going to be Fowler's toughest test to date. He's not only going to outdo Sonic 3, which was peak cinema, but he has also got the task of introducing not 1, but 2 of most beloved characters from Sonic's lore. And hey, it doesn't look like he's off to a bad start with the character I'm most excited to see, Miss Amy Rose, because it's now officially confirmed that Kristen Bell is joining the Sonic franchise as the voice of Amy Rose. Yes, the Kristen Bell, which is honestly chef's kiss. I don't think they could have picked a better casting choice. Paramount dropped the news on February 18th, 2026, and bringing in the voice of Princess Anna from Frozen to play Amy is smart business. It's going to bring in an entirely new demographic. You already know all those little girls who grew up loving Frozen are gonna want to see Princess Anna as a talking Pico Pico wielding pink hedgehog. I mean, come on. And the fact that Sonic 4 and Frozen 4 are dropping in the same year, let's just say Kristen Bell's back account is gonna be very happy. We actually got a tiny glimpse of Amy in that Sonic 3 mid-credits scene, where a hooded figure jumped in to save Sonic from a Metal Sonic ambush. It's clear they're ditching the damsel in distress tropes and leaning into her modern action-centric portrayal. And let's be real, Amy is a total merch goldmine for the studio. Even the official movie logo has a vibrant pink 4, which screams that she is the emotional center of this story. She's honestly one of the characters I've personally been most excited to see make the jump into live action, because Amy has always been such a huge part of the Sonic universe, and her absence from the first 3 movies was definitely noticeable. So finally, seeing her arrive in Sonic 4 feels like a major milestone for the franchise. And Kristen Bell genuinely feels like a perfect fit for her. She brings this energetic, emotional, slightly chaotic energy that lines up so well with Amy's personality, especially since Amy is fearless in a way that's completely different from the others, which is exactly the kind of presence that can shift the dynamic of the entire group. I think the big question fans will be pondering until seeing the first trailer is how they are going to approach Son Amy. Is Amy played as crazed lover, a super fan, or do we give into the furries and let a proper Sonic and Amy relationship play out across the 4th movie? While we theories about Amy, let's also spotlight another character whose future in Sonic 4 is still marred with a massive question mark: Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. Because Sonic 3 really did feel like a goodbye. It had that "this might be it" energy, with Robotnik seemingly turning face and getting a redemption. A lot of people assumed that was the end of Carrey in the Sonic franchise. But now, that might not be true, and I mean, come on, are we really that surprised? They've killed him off so many times now, but he always seems to come back. According to industry insider Daniel RPK, Paramount is actively trying to get Jim Carrey to return for Sonic 4. And to be fair, Carrey himself has never fully closed the door. In a previous interview, he said he's open to coming back if the idea sounds fun to him, and he's spoken about how much he loves working with the Sonic team and how passionate the fans have been. And honestly, it makes complete sense why Paramount would want him back. His Robotnik has been one of the best parts of these movies from the start. He's chaotic, ridiculous, kind of weirdly threatening, and pretty much steals every scene he's in. So while nothing is officially confirmed yet, the fact they're actively trying to bring him back tells you everything. They want Robotnik back on the big screen, and so do we. And with the roster growing and the stakes clearly leveling up, the big question now is, where exactly is Sonic 4 going to take us? Okay, so we might have just gotten our biggest clue yet about where Sonic 4 is taking us, and it came from a pretty unexpected place: a drone team. Back in October 2025, the insanely talented FPV crew, Dutch Drone Gods, traveled out to Bora Bora and Tahiti to capture aerial footage for Sonic the Hedgehog 4. And if you've ever seen their work, you'll know they specialize in those ridiculously fast, sweeping shots that feel like you're flying through the environment, which honestly is perfect for those blue blur action shots. And when you look at the locations they were filming in, that's when it clicked, because we're talking crystal blue oceans, huge cliffs, dense tropical islands, and landscapes that already look like they belong in a Sonic level. It's a massive shift away from the small town Montana and real world city settings we've spent most of the trilogy in so far. And it suggests Sonic 4 is finally ready to embrace something much closer to the actual games. Bright tropical environments, impossible loops, massive vertical terrain, and that classic South Island aesthetic that basically defined Sonic's world from the beginning. ASI promised, it's time to dive into that mysterious Sonic project set to drop in 2028, and how could we not, because it's looking like the franchise's universe is about to expand even further. Paramount has officially updated its calendar to include an untitled Sonic Universe event film for December 22nd, 2028. Rumor has it that this is going to be a standalone spin-off that marks the official beginning of Phase 2 for the SCU. And with producers teasing Sonic movies being Avengers-level events, there are some big possibilities for this new 2028 movie. After Keanu Reeves showed up as Shadow in Sonic 3 and absolutely devoured the role, let's be real, the chances of him getting his own standalone movie shot way up. Like, a full Shadow spin-off in 2028? That feels very possible. And honestly, it would be such an easy win. Shadow is the main character, darker tone, new supporting characters introduced into his world, and finally giving us Rouge the Bat on the big screen. I mean, Rouge debuting in a Shadow-led movie just makes sense. But here's the thing, would a Shadow Solo movie alone feel big enough to be that event film Paramount clearly wants for 2028? Because by that point, the Sonic universe is going to be stacked. We'll have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, Metal Sonic, maybe Robotnik still lurking around in some form. So just doing a smaller scale Shadow story might feel like a step sideways instead of forward. So what if they go bigger? I could also very easily see the 2028 Sonic movie going full event film territory by pulling inspiration from Sonic Generations. Because if you've played that game, you'll know how big the concept is. It revolves around Sonic and Tails encountering their younger selves in this time-bending story after Eggman tries to mess with the timeline and basically undo all of his past defeats. Audiences would literally get two Sonics on screen at the same time, with the version we know now teaming up alongside his younger self. And honestly, that alone would generate the exact kind of hype Paramount seems to be building toward, because it instantly makes the movie feel bigger, more emotional, and like a true event rather than just another sequel. For me though, the only real choice for a movie currently untitled as a Sonic Universe event film is an adaptation of Sonic Heroes. I mean, come on, this is the Avengers Endgame style story of the Sonic universe. It would bring together all the characters, plus many new ones we haven't seen yet to face off against the biggest threat these movies have seen. I honestly think with the debut of normal Metal Sonic in Sonic Movie 4, making Neo Metal Sonic the big bad next time for a Sonic Heroes adaptation could be the way to go. Honestly though, possibilities feel endless at this point, and it honestly feels like the Sonic franchise is only just getting started, so I need to know what you want to see from the 2028 Sonic project. Drop all your theories down in the comments because I know you've got some wild ones. And speaking of theories, with Sonic 4 getting closer, it's only right we dive into some of the biggest, wildest theories for Sonic 4, right? One of the biggest theories surrounding Sonic 4 is that the movie could introduce time travel, and honestly, the pieces are already there. Because in the Sonic 3 post-credits scene, Sonic is suddenly ambushed by not one, not two, but a whole army of Metal Sonics, which is already terrifying enough, but then Amy Rose appears out of nowhere and saves him. The Metal Sonic arrival alongside Amy is very deliberate and got fans thinking about Sonic CD, because that was the game where both characters were originally introduced, and that story revolved heavily around time travel. In Sonic CD, Sonic travels across different time periods to stop Robotnik from controlling the future, and many fans believe Sonic 4 could borrow from that exact storyline. This theory was only strengthened by a whole host of scoops and rumors that said that Paramount were considering the title Sonic CD for the fourth movie. Yeah, I think we are getting time travel, and with that in mind, one of the most popular theories is that Metal Sonic and Amy may have come from the future, with Metal Sonic potentially sent back to eliminate Sonic and Amy sent back to protect him, which would instantly raise the stakes beyond anything we've seen so far. But there's also another possibility that's just as interesting. Instead of someone coming back for Sonic, Sonic could be the one who travels forward. We already know the cinematic Sonic is getting more powerful with every movie, especially after harnessing the Chaos Emeralds. And in the games and comics, Sonic has literally been able to run fast enough to break through time itself. So it's entirely possible that during that post-credits race with Tails and Knuckles, Sonic decides to really push himself and run at full speed. And in doing that, he could actually outrun the normal flow of time and end up launching himself straight into the future. Now, I know we've already talked about the possibility of Robotnik returning, but I keep coming back to the same question: how would they actually do it? And there's one theory that makes the most sense. The last time we saw him, he was inside the Eclipse cannon when it exploded, and while it looked like a sacrifice, this is Dr. Robotnik we're talking about. It's very hard to believe the franchise would permanently write off one of its most iconic characters like that. And there's a very interesting detail here. The Eclipse Cannon was powered by chaos energy, the same kind of energy that in the games has been used for time travel. So when that explosion happened, there's a real possibility it didn't destroy Robotnik, it displaced him, meaning he could have been thrown into the future. A future where Sonic and his friends are gone, a future where nothing is standing in his way, which would give him the perfect opportunity to finally do what he's always wanted, take complete control of the planet. And honestly, it gets even more interesting because unused concept art from Sonic 3 actually showed Robotnik in a dystopian world surrounded by Metal Sonics, which feels like something they were seriously considering. And if Robotnik did survive and ended up in the future, it would explain everything. Who created Metal Sonic, why there are so many of them, and how the stakes in Sonic 4 could escalate far beyond anything we've seen so far. And hey, I know we've spoken so much about Amy, Metal Sonic, and Robotnik, but there's one more character who keeps coming up again and again in Sonic 4 theories. Silver the Hedgehog. Because if Sonic 4 really is exploring time travel, Silver makes a lot of sense. In the games, Silver comes from a destroyed future. He's a psychokinetic hedgehog who travels back in time to try and prevent whatever catastrophe wiped out his world in the first place. And if Metal Sonic ends up playing a major role in Sonic 4, it's very possible those machines could be directly responsible for that kind of future, which would give Silver a very clear reason to go back and find Sonic. And honestly, introducing Silver now would feel like a natural next step. The films have already brought in Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, and now Amy. Silver is one of the last major Hedgehog characters left, and his entire story revolves around time travel, which lines up perfectly with where Sonic 4 could be heading. He could even arrive at the end of Sonic Movie 4 in the post-credits scene, setting up that Untitled event movie just 1 year later. So Sonic 4 is shaping up to be a time-traveling, hammer-swinging, robotic cloning epic that finally takes us to the tropical zones we've been waiting for. But I want to know what you think. Who do you think is really behind the Metal Sonic army? Is Kristen Bell the perfect pick for Amy Rose? And most importantly, if we get that 2028 film, what storyline are you rooting for? Drop all your theories and unhinged predictions in the comments. And hey, if you want to see what this time-traveling madness could look like, check out a clip from our Sonic 4 concept trailer on the channel right now.
He ended up in our timeline, and he had a piece of you. He was obsessed, trying to recreate you. Stronger, faster, smarter. And he didn't stop there. He created an entire army. He's completely destroyed our world.